Qatar and Switzerland drew 1-1, but the tactical story is not complicated. Switzerland had enough volume to win the match. Qatar had enough resistance to keep the match alive. Then, in stoppage time, one cross, one challenge, and one own goal changed everything. This was a game about the difference between controlling attempts and controlling outcomes. Switzerland controlled large parts of the match, but they never controlled the ending. The first tactical point is Swiss attacking volume. Switzerland finished with 26 attempts, while Qatar had 7. That gap tells us a lot. Switzerland were able to reach shooting zones, attack the box, and keep Qatar defending for long stretches. But football does not reward attempts by themselves. It rewards the final action. A shot from the wrong angle, a rushed header, a weak finish, or a blocked effort all count as pressure, but they do not count as control if the opponent survives. The early penalty should have given Switzerland the perfect platform. In the 17th minute, Embolo scored after Mahmoud Abunada fouled Remo Freuler. From that point, the match state favored Switzerland. They could manage the ball, choose their pressing moments, and force Qatar to open up. But a 1-0 lead is only comfortable if the team builds on it. Switzerland did not build enough. They protected the lead more than they expanded it. Qatar's defensive approach was not perfect, but it was stubborn. They gave up shots, but they did not give up emotionally. Their goalkeeper and back line stayed involved. They blocked, saved, recovered, and waited. In matches like this, survival has a tactical value. The underdog does not need the better numbers. It needs the numbers to remain close enough on the scoreboard. Qatar understood that the only number that mattered was still 1-0. The second tactical point is Swiss tempo. When a team has the ball and creates chances, it can still become too comfortable. Switzerland had periods where they looked in control, but not urgent. They entered the final third, but the final decision often lacked sharpness. The match became a pattern of almost chances. Almost a clean shot. Almost a second goal. Almost finished. That word, almost, is dangerous in tournament football. The third point is that Qatar's attacking threat was limited, but not dead. They had fewer chances, but they created enough moments to remind Switzerland that the match was still alive. Qatar reached areas late, looked for crosses, and made substitutions to add energy. When a favorite fails to kill the match, every small underdog attack becomes bigger. The crowd senses it, the bench senses it, the opponent senses it. Suddenly, one cross feels like a tactical plan. The own goal in the 94th minute was not a random event floating in isolation. It came from the condition Switzerland created by leaving the match unfinished. Homa Mehmed's cross forced a duel. Boualem Kouki challenge. Miro Muheim, introduced only moments earlier, ended up heading the ball into his own net. That is the cruelty of late-game defending. If the match is still only 1-0, even a substitute's first major defensive action can become the story. From Switzerland's perspective, this is why game management matters. Game management is not just passing the ball slowly. It is knowing when to push for the second goal, when to protect zones, when to stop crosses, when to control the emotional rhythm, and when to remove risk. Switzerland did some of those things, but not enough of them. The late equalizer exposed the difference between being ahead and being safe. Qatar's point is historic because it is their first ever World Cup point. But tactically, it is also valuable because it shows a team can earn something without winning the statistics. Qatar did not dominate. Qatar did not create more. Qatar did not have long periods of control. but they kept the score within reach, and at the World Cup, that is a legitimate strategy against a stronger opponent. Stay alive, force one late action, and let pressure do strange things. For Switzerland, the frustration is that the underlying performance was not empty. 26 attempts means the structure produced opportunities. The problem was conversion. This is why the reaction after the match focused on wastefulness rather than pure tactical failure. Murat Yakin's side found positions. They simply did not produce enough quality in the final contact. In a short group stage, that can be costly. Group B makes this even more important. Canada and Bosnia also drew, which means all four teams are level after the first round. Switzerland lost the chance to separate. Qatar gained belief. The next match now changes in meaning. Switzerland must prove the draw was only a warning, not a pattern. Qatar must prove the point was not only a miracle ending, but a platform. The fan reaction also matches the tactical lesson. Many neutral reactions focused on Switzerland wasting the match and becoming too casual with a 1-0 lead. Some praised Qatar's goalkeeper and resilience. Others described the point as a smash and grab. All of those reactions point to the same conclusion: Switzerland gave Qatar hope, and Qatar used it. In tournament football, hope is not a small thing. It changes legs, decisions, and nerves. If Switzerland want to correct this, the solution is not simply shoot more. They already shot enough. They need better shot selection, more ruthless finishing, and stronger late-game defensive control. They also need to stop crosses when protecting a narrow lead. The final action came because Qatar were allowed to put the ball into a dangerous area. One defensive detail erased more than 90 minutes of statistical advantage. Qatar's homework is different. They cannot depend on late own goals every match. They need more attacking phases, more control after winning the ball, and more ways to threaten before stoppage time. But what they can take forward is belief. They survived a difficult match, earned a historic point, and reminded the group that they are not only here to participate. If we reduce the match to one tactical sentence, it is this: Switzerland won the shot count, but Qatar won the final emotional moment. That is why the score finished 1-1. Volume matters, but finishing matters more. Control matters, but closure matters more. And in a World Cup group where everyone is level, one late own goal can change the entire shape of the next round. So Qatar leave with history and belief. Switzerland leave with frustration and a warning. The match was not a tactical masterpiece, but it was a perfect World Cup lesson. If you dominate and do not finish, the opponent can still write the last line. Switzerland wrote most of the match. Qatar wrote the ending.